NT News headline: Luke Gosling promised ministerial promotion if elected, he says. Article by Fia Walsh of the NT News from the 2nd of May, 2025. With the article going on to say a win on Saturday would also spotlight Mr. Gosling's influence with his Canberra Labor colleagues, having been promised an assistant ministerial role after 9 years as Solomon MP, he said. Mr. Gosling was quoted in the article as saying, "I'm really happy with the support I have from the Prime Minister, and he's certainly indicated to me that he sees me in an assistant ministerial position after this election. With his support, that will be the most representation that the Northern Territory has ever had in the ministry, which would be a great result. Obviously, I'm capable of being a cabinet minister. And should I have the support of my colleagues, then I look forward to making sure the Territory is even more so at the table when the big decisions are made." Despite being returned for a 4th term, Gosling has failed to secure a position as a minister or assistant minister. As per today's announcement, he will continue in his existing role as a Special Envoy for Defence, Veterans Affairs and Northern Australia. Will the NT News question Luke Gosling on whether he had actually been promised an assistant ministerial role by Prime Minister Albanese? Or can we assume that NT News is radio silent because there isn't a single answer to that question that reflects well on the Labor Party, as either Gosling lied or Albanese lied, or neither of them lied, and the wishes of the Australian Prime Minister are powerless against the control that union factionalism has over ministerial appointments in the Labor Party. This isn't the first time that Luke Gosling has hinted he may be in line for an assistant ministerial role, as he did the same before the 2022 election on Mix 104.9 with Katie Wolfe. However, this is the first time he has said he was promised such a position. Why it matters. The Solomon race was incredibly close. For the first time since 2007, a Labor candidate had to rely on preferences to get them over the line. It's reasonable to assume that the idea of a re-elected Gosling being elevated into a ministry did affect how some people voted, as even those unimpressed with Gosling's lack of achievement up until this point could still recognise that his elevation would give Darwin and Palmerston a chance to secure a greater share of infrastructure funding, for example. Gosling was clearly conscious that this impression gave him an edge over the CLP's candidate Lisa Bayliss, hence why he specifically mentions it in his pre-election pitch in the NT News the day before the election. Solomon is now back where it started, with a local MP sitting on the backbench, who is unable to convince the Labor government that annual infrastructure spending for his electorate should be higher than their grant to Adelaide Zoo to breed pandas, whose cubs will remain the property of the Chinese government. The only thing that has been achieved out of Gosling's re-election for a 4th term is that at the conclusion of this term, he will be eligible for a lifelong parliamentary pension. In Australia, federal parliamentarians are entitled to a lifetime pension or a lump sum, depending on their length of service. A minimum pension is payable after completing 12 years of service or serving 4 terms. The minimum pension rate is 50% of the parliamentary allowance. Additional years of service beyond 12 years, up to 18 years, increase the pension by 2.5% per year. Service as a minister or office holder also accrues additional pension benefits,